Welcome to Leaders of the West, a podcast for innovators and changemakers. I'm your host, Jessie Jarvis, the founder of the West, and I'm sitting down with agriculturalists, entrepreneurs, executives, and everyone in between with the goal of digging into the strategies, mindsets, and lessons that have been crucial to the success of ag and Western. Whether you're carrying on the next generation of your family's operation, starting something from scratch, or determined to climb up the leadership ladder, we're going to inspire you to continue to dream big, growing not just you, but the future of agriculture and Western as a whole. Let's go. Hello, hello. I am so thankful to have you guys here for today's episode of Leaders of the West. Whatever day it is that you're listening to this, I hope you are having a fabulous day. We've got a lot going on in this episode, and I'm going to preface this by saying we have the most epic podcast editing team around. I often give them the worst quality audio, and they turn it upside down. They make it sound as phenomenal as they possibly can. But today I think I'm setting them up for quite the task because we have a painter in our house, so it's pretty noisy, and I am high on paint fumes at this point. So I came out to my car to record this audio. So it's probably going to sound a little bit different than normal. I promise that it is not going to distract from what it is that I want to chat with you guys about today, because we've got a lot to talk about. It's been a while since I have done one of these solo episodes, and I am going to share a little bit more as to why that is. But I'm going to wait, because before we get to that, I want to talk about what's been going on in the last month since we have had one of these solo episodes. So first things first, about a month ago on February 13th, we opened up what we're going to call a sister platform to Of the West, which is Directory of the West, or the Directory, a creative directory where you can go find freelancers and contractors who would be considered to be creatives that all have businesses rooted in agriculture and Western industries. So we opened that up to where creatives could join for the first week. And then on February 20th, we opened the directory up to where the public could search the directory. So let's backtrack a little bit as to why we opened it up on the 13th, a week ahead of the public launch. And that was because what comes first, the chicken or the egg? You can't have a creative directory if you don't have creatives inside. But if you want to get creatives inside, you have to have people who are going to be searching the directory. So in the first week that we opened it, on the first day, we had more than 90 businesses join. It absolutely blew away our expectations and really did prove what a need something like this was in our industry. In the first week, we ended up having about 150 businesses join. And I will also say, if you are hearing this and you think that you have missed out, you are fine. You can still join the directory. We just put a really big focus on getting people and businesses in that first week, like I said, so that when we opened it up to the public, they would have people and businesses to search through. I know I've been talking a lot about the directory, and that is because it's something that is brand new. So we really need to spread awareness, and it does have the power to really change and positively impact our industry. And the impact that it has had thus far has been so impressive. I had people reach out on the very first day of it opening saying how they had gotten a number of leads, which really reconfirmed the need for a platform like this. So that was the first couple weeks of February. And then right after the directory launched, we took ourselves out on the road and headed out to the one and only Fort Worth, Texas. So the National Reined Cow Horse Association's Celebration of Champions is a 2-week-long reined cow horse competition. And the most impressive or well-known event that I should say is the World's Greatest Horseman competition. It happens during Celebration of Champions. And also during this 2-week time frame, there are a few college stock horse and ranch horse team competitions. There's also a high school rodeo reined cow horse competition and a youth World's Greatest Horseman event as well. So back in December, NRCHA reached out to us and they wanted to put together a career and a college exploration fair for all of their student attendees. We put together a panel of industry experts that I emceed. We had Jessica Wallert from Miller International, Carly Peterson from the Cowboy Channel, Gary Hawks from National High School Rodeo, Kristen Stevens from Nutrina, and then Ben Baldus of Ben Baldus Horsemanship. So a wide variety of career types were represented, but these people truly are the best of the best at what they do. And we really wanted to provide an opportunity to where students could hear more about those various career paths and give them more ideas of future opportunities that may be waiting for them if they do want to pursue careers in Western sports, Western lifestyle, or the equine industry in general. So we had this panel. We also had probably about 20 exhibitors, both businesses, those college ranch horse and stock horse teams. Again, it wasn't really a college fair. It wasn't really a career fair, more of a potential opportunity exploration career. That is a mouthful, but that's what we're going to call it. Really bringing forth just more education around future opportunities in our industry for those younger generations who may still be unsure of what it is that they're going to do. So we ended up with probably about 150 to 200 people who showed up, which was, again, for a first-time event, so impressive. And we are going to be hosting more of these types of events through the year. So if you're listening to this and the organization or association that you work for has been considering a career or a college fair, but you're hesitant to put one on because you feel like it's a little bit out of your wheelhouse, please send us an email and we can see if that is something that would be a good fit for us. So that's what we've been up to lately. Today, I am going to call this episode Small Bites because I have about 3 different topics that I want to talk to you guys about that don't necessarily have enough weight to have their own episode, but I think all 3 of them together are going to fit nicely. It's going to take up the right amount of time, not too long, I promise. I think maybe we should call them like mental appetizers. They're not big enough to be a full meal, or in this case, like I said, a full podcast episode, but they're little things that I've been thinking a lot about lately that I want to share. So topic number 1, putting off until later what you could do today. Today's episode, for instance, as you have probably noticed, we have gone a lot longer than normal without a solo podcast because these are without a doubt one of the most uncomfortable things that I do. And I will be the first to say that uncomfortable things are the things that make us stronger. And if we're putting something off because it isn't easy, that's usually a sign that we need to be doing it. I don't know why I dread these episodes so much. I think it's because I'm just sitting here looking at my computer screen, hoping that I am talking about something that is of interest to you guys, but I really have no idea where that topic of the day is going to land. But if I look at the stats behind our show, which I do because we all know that I am a data nerd, these solo episodes are always some of our best episodes. They have the highest number of first-day downloads, of 7-day downloads, the consumption rate, meaning the percentage of you guys who listen from the beginning of the show to the end of the show is higher than they are for other episodes, which I credit that to the fact that these episodes are a lot shorter than our guest episodes, so it's easier to get through one of these if you are dropping the kids off at school in between meetings, doing some kind of ranch or farm task. But even though I statistically know you guys like these episodes and I am not wasting my time, they are still really hard for me. So I put them off. I always say, I will do it tomorrow. I will do it tomorrow. I know that my solo episodes are due the Tuesday, 2 weeks before the episode is going to air. And I can guarantee you that in the almost a year that we have been doing this, I don't think I have ever had one of these episodes ready before a Tuesday. Unless there was a Tuesday where I was traveling. Let's say I'm flying out on a Tuesday and I know I'm not going to be in my office to do one, then I'll do it, but I'll do it on Monday. I will do it on the last possible day because I absolutely put it off. I think, oh, I'll get to it tomorrow. And I can tell you, even aside from these solo episodes, I have been burned more in life by saying I will do it tomorrow than I have ever been rewarded when I say, oh man, I am so thankful that I put that off and that I waited. Because we've all had those situations where you were thankful that you waited to do something because things change in some way. I'm pretty sure that I am at a 96.4. If in 100 times, 96 of them, I will regret having put off till tomorrow. And only 4 times have I actually been thankful that I put something off and waited till another day to do something. So at that percentage, I should know better than to put things off. So that's why we're so behind in these solo podcast episodes, because on the 13th, which is when one of my solo episodes was due, we had the directory onboarding. So that took up my day and I never should have waited. And so I missed the opportunity. So then I had to wait until the next week. Well, then lo and behold, on the 20th, 1 week from the previous Tuesday, we launched the directory. I knew we were going to launch the directory that day and I still was like, nope, I'm just going to do it on Tuesday. And look, then I didn't get one done. So now here I am. Basically, I'm rambling at this point. But what I'm saying is, don't be somebody who puts things off till tomorrow. Do them today. Like today, right now, whatever it is that you have been putting off. When you build your list and it is the thing that you continually are just writing on tomorrow's list of, oh, it's still on my list. I didn't cross it off today. Oh, I'll get that tomorrow. No, do it today. I have learned my lesson. You guys can learn from my mistakes. Absolutely do the thing today. Now, along those same lines, small bite number 2 is the idea that oftentimes things have to get worse before they get better. Now, hear me out on this. I don't think that that is actually always the case. But so often in life, in the process of something happening, things do have to unravel a little so that they can refocus, redirect, and wind themselves into something new. It's all part of the process. So let me give you an example. I'm a pretty organized person, but my pantry is a whole other can of worms. I don't want to make excuses, but part of this reason is because we have a crappy little pantry. It isn't some big spacious thing that is easy to organize. It is one of those floor to ceiling double door cabinets that goes back really deep and it feels like it's impossible to get into. So for that reason, it gets disorganized really easily. And about every 6 months, it gets so bad that I can't take it anymore and I decide I'm reorganizing. So I pull everything, and I mean everything, out of the pantry. And by the time I get it all out, I need to run outside or run to the bathroom, or I've got to go change laundry from the washer to the dryer, so I leave the room. And when I walk back into the kitchen and I see everything we own taking up every single inch of counter space that we own, I think to myself, what in the hell have I done? Because the mess that we had in the pantry wasn't anything compared to the mess that I just created. But I group everything together, I figure out what needs to go where, and slowly but surely it all goes back together. And just like that, it's organized. The mess is out of the pantry, it's off the counter, and even a man could find things in that pantry without having to ask for help. But it took things getting far worse before they got better. The same applies to life and in business. And it never happens at a comfortable time. We are the messy pantry. Or maybe it's a part of your business that is the messy pantry. Things are already a little chaotic inside. And in order to calm the chaos, we've got to pull it all out, lay it on our metaphorical counter, organize it, throw out what's expired or what doesn't fit us anymore, reconfigure things a bit, and begin the process of putting it back together in its new formation that's going to get us where we need to be. And so often we're hesitant or unwilling to do it because we're afraid of the mess. We don't want to make things worse when things already aren't going the way that we want them to. The inside of us feels like that chaotic pantry. But you can't be afraid of the mess. The mess is truly part of the magic. Don't be afraid to create some well-intentioned chaos in order to get things in a better place. You have to take that first step in order to get things moving forward to what is better. So go make the mess. Things are going to have to get worse before they get better, but it's all part of the process. It is meant to happen. You have to trust the process. You've got to believe in it, and you've got to take the first step in making that mess. So that gets me to small bite number 3, which also comes at the perfect time. I swear, I just wrote these out on the page and somehow they have been listed in the perfect order. Small bite number 3 is be willing to have and give grace. Grace? Oh, she passed away 30 years ago. Not that kind of grace. And if you've ever watched National Lampoon Christmas Vacation, you guys are going to get my joke. If not, we can still be friends. But there's so much value in being somebody who's able to have and give grace. So we all know what grace is, or at least we think we do. Technically speaking, it's the act of giving acceptance unconditionally and voluntarily to an undeserving person by an unobligated giver. I did have to get that definition out of the dictionary, and I want to challenge the word undeserving because that comes off a little bit harsh. But I think what that really means is that giving grace comes in times when our natural reaction may be the very opposite. We're frustrated. We're disappointed. We're annoyed. We're irritated. And I feel strongly about this topic. And ironically enough, I am somebody who has the highest of expectations. I don't half-ass anything, and in turn, I expect full-ass effort from everybody else. And I will absolutely hold somebody's feet to the fire. But at the same time, I realize that so much of what happens in life and in business and in the world is so far out of our control. I cannot tell you how many times I have been prepared for every possible situation, and somehow life comes in and throws something my way that is an absolute anomaly. And I think that we as humans know that we can absolutely do our best, but there's no possible way to be prepared for every possible situation in life. At some point, you would waste so much time preparing for the what ifs that things would never actually move forward. So we've got to reward people who are willing to say, okay, we can't worry about the what ifs. We've just got to move forward here. And I also know that when it comes to grace, If I want to receive grace in my life, then I need to be the first to put it out into the universe. You get what you give. If you're playing tennis or pickleball, oh, my mom is a big pickleball player. If you are playing pickleball, you can't just keep the ball for yourself. You've got to hit it to the opponent so they can hit it back to you. I want to send out as much grace as I possibly can so that when I need it most, it's going to volley back to me, right? It's going to come back. I want to be third grade Jessie Thompson in a dodgeball competition where I am getting pummeled, but with all of the kindness and the compassion and the faith that I need at the time. And that is how I am going to get it. I'm not going to get any of those balls given back to me unless I don't first throw them out into the world. This is one of those things that I wish that our world would take more to heart, because I think somehow we have turned into a society that is wound so tightly that we've lost our ability to give compassion, generosity, and overall kindness. Giving grace doesn't mean that you're letting stuff slide, and it doesn't mean that you're becoming a doormat for people to do you wrong. You can absolutely say, XYZ was wrong. It's okay, but it can't happen again. So let's figure out how we can minimize this in the future. You can, work together for a solution or whatever it is and still give grace. So whatever has happened lately, let this be a reminder. Maybe the attendant at Chick-fil-A didn't get your order correct. Give them grace. Maybe somebody cut you off in the parking lot. Give them grace. Whatever it is in life, in whatever situation that you are faced with, whether it is now, in the future, give them grace. And honestly, this kind of takes me back to that small bite number 2. You never know when somebody has that chaotic internal pantry or is in the process of making the mess worse in order for it to get better. And that is a time in life where I want to be given grace. So I need to give grace. And I'm also going to add this too. If you continue to give grace to the same person or the same situation and things don't change for the better, you don't have to continue to give it. You can move over to the next pickleball court and find the next player so that when you hit the ball, they're going to hit the ball back to you, right? The other thing that I want to add is that when people do give you grace, acknowledge it. Say thank you. Don't take it as something you were entitled to receive, because the fact is you're not entitled to receive it, nor are you entitled to receive anything. It's part of that volleying the ball back and forth. If you received grace in a situation where there could have been a really different result, then recognize it. Hit the ball back and say, thank you. I appreciate, your compassion, your generosity, your kindness, whatever it was. If you want grace, obviously we know you have to give it. But when you've received it, part of hitting that ball back is acknowledging it. Okay, not putting off until later what you could do today, the idea that things have to get worse before they get better, and the importance of being somebody who is willing to have and give grace. That's all I've got for you guys. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. Maybe you needed those reminders. I hope you guys all know how much I appreciate you, because if I didn't, you guys can absolutely trust that I would not be showing up for these because they make me so uncomfortable. But here I am, trying to practice what I preach, sitting in my car. I'm so thankful that the UPS man didn't just pull in to our driveway when he drove by our house just now, because he would have absolutely wondered what the heck I was doing. But anyways, you guys, I am so appreciative of you. Go do something uncomfortable today. Go do the thing that you were going to put off till tomorrow. Give some grace. Understand that things are going to have to get worse before they get better. Thank you for being here, and I cannot wait to see you back here next week.
If you loved this episode, do us a favor and share it with someone else who might find just as much value in it as you did. We're on a mission to continue to grow and strengthen the future of agriculture and Western industries, and you spreading the word helps us make more of a positive impact. It also makes a big difference when you take a minute to go rate and review the show. We can't thank you enough for listening, for sharing, and for loving Ag and Western as much as we do. We'll see you back here for our next episode.